Chapter 3. Ambush on the Road. Paulus and Nikolai set off early that morning, and their horses, Dave and Bob, were well provisioned for the 3-day journey. The sky was already clouding over as Paulus reflected on what guard Captain Besford had told them. Rugelum was a cursed town, where crops would fail every season, and the streets were rife with crime. Mayor Galen Farrow tried in vain to turn around the fortunes of Rugelum, but to no avail, and now his death further blackened the town's name. The stone quarry was Rugelum's only source of income, and it was overlooked by an old ruined tower, which was said to be haunted. Captain Besford told the adventurers that the quarry was ran by a man called Dalin Epworth, and that Lord Meleron had become Rugelum's new mayor. Paulus had to admit the 20 gold coins would come in handy, as their funds were starting to run light. Nikolai did enjoy his tea. After a few hours of travel, they met a trader on the way to Tamwort, who asked for directions, of which Nikolai was happy to oblige. "All right, mate. I know exactly how to get there. You get down this road, right? Then you make a flipping left, right? And then another left, right? And then follow the straight road, right? And then you'll get to Tamwort, mate," Nikolai said, as the trader looked at him in confusion. Paulus laughed and wished the trader good luck on his journey, as Nikolai rode ahead on his horse, Bob. There was a sound of thunder in the distance, which filled Paulus's heart with dread, as the adventurers came to a fork in the road, and Nikolai spotted something ahead. "Flippin' hell, what's going on here?" Nikolai said, as he pointed to a figure sprawled on the road. The figure was a man, and he was writhing in pain, pleading for help. Paulus's senses tingled. Not only did Paulus's intuition help him sense magic, but also potential danger. Paulus liked to call his magic sense Bella Sense, and his Bella Sense was on fire now. "Wait, Nikolai, I sense trouble." Before he could finish his sentence, 4 armed men came from either side of the road, trapping the adventurers. The man who was writhing in pain earlier stood up and drew his sword, an evil smile upon his face, and from behind a large oak tree a big man came forward and walked to the front of the group. It was the same big bald man Nikolai had defeated at arm wrestling. "You owe me money, dwarf, you dirty cheat," he snarled with a strange accent. "I won flipping arm wrestling fair and square, right, mate? I'll tell you what, Honky Tonk, why don't you say hello to my friend Susan, right?" Nikolai jumped off his horse, brandishing his warhammer. Nikolai's warhammer Susan was as nearly as big as him, but he wielded that warhammer with a skill and dexterity that before the old man knew it, Nikolai chopped his head clean off. The other men ran off into the woods shouting in fear, as the head of the bald man rolled to the ground, still with an expression of surprise. "These flipping bandit donkeys, right? They'll never flip a name, will they, mate? Right?" Nikolai said, as he sheathed his weapon. "I wish you could have waited, Nikolai. We may have been able to resolve this without bloodshed," Paul said, shaking his head. Nah, Paulus. These flipping honky tonks, it's the only thing they flipping understand, mate," Nikolai said, as he got back on his horse and continued their journey. When evening came, the heavens opened. Cold thrashing rain pelted the travellers. Lightning and thunder streaked across the blackened sky, and above the forest, on a hill, stood an old ruined watchtower from the ancient celestial days, and from a window shone a flickering light. "It's no use, Nikolai. We must take shelter. Let's head towards that tower. Hopefully we may receive a warm welcome," Paulus said, pointing to the hill. All right, mate, yeah, I flipping hope so, 'cause I'm flipping gagging for a cup of tea, mate," Nikolai replied, as they made their way towards the ancient watchtower.